Sophie will tell the story of how I took back control of my life and ended the harm my husband David caused. To keep things private, we'll use fake names, as I'm a well-known lawyer in my state, and keeping my identity safe is important. Let's not focus on the details of Sophie and David's relationship. We fell in love, got married, and later broke up. Unfortunately, it felt like I was the only one who loved him, as David cheated. It was clear he was unfaithful, he avoided me, spent a lot of time out of the house, and went on frequent business trips. Even though I had a successful career as a lawyer, David didn't respect me because I earned less than he did. One day, while he was away on another business trip, I decided to look into it. I found a hidden Facebook account on his old laptop, which confirmed my fears. He was cheating with another woman. She was attractive, and David often put me down for not looking like her. I was heartbroken and furious. I confronted him right away. "David, are you cheating on me? I have proof," I shouted. He coldly replied, "Sophie, you're just not interesting to me anymore. You're always working on boring cases and ignoring me, and you're not a model, so looks won't keep me." Confused, I asked, "What do you mean, David? I have a demanding job, and you knew that when we got married. I didn't ignore you, you stopped coming home and refused to talk." That was when I found out about David's affair. I expected him to feel guilty when I confronted him, but his cold response shocked me. He blamed everything on me, justifying his cheating, which made no sense. I refused to let him make false accusations, so I pointed out where he was wrong. Instead of defending himself, he turned cold again and said he was glad I found out. With a harsh tone, David said, "It's good you found out, Sophie. Now I don't have to hide my beautiful girlfriend. She and I will have a perfect life once I divorce you. I'll finally marry someone who deserves me and my name." His words hit me hard, and I felt a cold chill. As he talked about divorce, he insulted me and said I wasn't good enough for him. He showed no remorse for his affair, even bragging about how his new girlfriend would be a better wife. Tears filled my eyes as he belittled me. This was the man I had loved for years, and his words crushed me. Through my tears, I asked, "How can you say that, David? I've always been there for you. Through everything, I've honored my vows and always put you first." He coldly responded, "It doesn't matter anymore. You're not right for me. I'm a successful business owner now, and a woman with average looks and a law degree won't do for me." Feeling humiliated, I protested, "How could you do this to me, David? I'm a strong woman. Even if I don't meet your idea of beauty, I've been a good wife to you, and now you're planning to divorce me." He corrected me, "I'm not planning to divorce you, Sophie. I've already decided. I don't want to be with you anymore. I'll file soon and have already hired a great lawyer. You better pack your things. I don't want to see you again." A few hours later, he sent the divorce papers through a friend. The friend looked at me with sympathy as I took the papers, closed the door, and cried. The pain of realizing I had spent so many years with someone so terrible was overwhelming, but I knew I wouldn't let this break me. I was strong, and I was going to take control of my life and show David that he wouldn't get away with hurting me. When David's friend delivered the divorce papers, he mentioned that David had been planning to drag out the divorce. At first, I was confused, but then it hit me. We had a prenup. David had made sure that if he cheated, I would get half of his business. In all the emotional chaos, I had overlooked this. It made sense now why David wanted to delay things. He was hoping I would give up my rightful share. I wasn't going to let that happen. I called his lawyer right away and set up an appointment. Within 2 days, I moved out of David's house and into my childhood home, which was in my name. I texted him saying, "I took my ugly face and body out of your damn house." David replied, "Good that you've come to your senses and aren't causing a scene." He bragged about his lawyer's skills, but I stayed calm and warned him, "I'm keeping my business, that's for sure. For now, you'll stay away from me." I was determined to make sure the prenup was respected, and I was ready for whatever came next. "I don't want to talk to you. You can only speak to me through my lawyers now, and I expect you to move out of my house," I told him. David's attitude made my anger boil. It was incredible how rage could give someone so much strength. I felt clarity, and almost laughed at David's foolishness. He had no idea who he was dealing with. I wasn't sure if his lawyer, Leo, knew either, so I arranged to meet him at a cafe. When he saw me, he started shaking, only calming down when he recognized me. He seemed confident, but not enough. Leo was a decent lawyer, but he wasn't prepared for someone like me. David had never thought much of me, so Leo was in for a shock. "Hello, nice to meet you here," I said, noticing his surprise. "If you're unsure about who I am, let me clear it up. Yes, I'm the wife." I wasn't expecting you to show up," Leo stammered, flustered. "The surnames don't match because I used my maiden name after I got my law degree," I explained. "Ah, I see," Leo mumbled, clearly uncomfortable. "So, I guess you want to drag this out, right? That's what my client told me." "Your client's been lying to you," I said, meeting his eyes. "He's the one who wants to delay everything. Isn't that what he told you?" I knew my reputation as a lawyer would speak for itself. Leo was starting to look uneasy under my gaze. I wasn't shy about asking the hard questions. You don't need to answer that, Leo. I've known David for more than 10 years. I married him, for God's sake. I know what's going on in his head. Feeling a bit bad for Leo, I decided to share some truths. Since I know you, and it's not fair on you, I'll tell you what's really going on in this divorce. What do you mean, ma'am? Leo asked, surprised. Did David tell you he cheated on me? I asked, watching his reaction. His face told me everything I needed to know. He was caught off guard. I'm not going to lie. Admitting I'd been cheated on hurt. It stung, and my ego took a hit, but I knew I couldn't let my emotions show, no matter how humiliating it was. I felt like I still had the upper hand, and I was sure of it. Leo, on the other hand, had no idea. He said, "Oh no, I don't think my client told me about that, but he did warn me that, in his words, you'd make baseless accusations because you want to ruin him." "Oh, poor you, Leo," I replied. "Your client has been playing you, though. It might make you happy to know that David thinks you're one of the best lawyers out there." "Well, that's a nice compliment, but I'll never measure up to you, ma'am," Leo admitted. "I wish he had told me his wife also practiced law. He only told me you worked at a law firm." My husband never took my achievements seriously. He had a habit of belittling my work and influence. It was foolish of me to stay with him this long, but at least I was smart enough to sign the prenup to protect myself. I shared. Leo was shocked when I mentioned the prenup. He looked like he didn't expect that at all. "I didn't know about the prenup," he said, looking confused. "Do you have proof, ma'am?" "Oh, I've got plenty of proof, Leo. I brought the papers." I had a feeling David would try to avoid facing the consequences of his actions. "Not on my watch," I said confidently. "I'd like to see the papers, ma'am. Also, I think I'll need to see proof of the affair, if you have any," Leo said. "Don't worry, Leo, I brought everything. Like I said, it's not me who wants to drag out this divorce. The sooner it happens, the better for me." I handed over everything, messages, photos, documents, just casually pulling them out of my handbag. I knew this case was going to work in my favor. Leo went through all the documents carefully before signing. He looked defeated and then said, "I see you have solid proof, ma'am. I had no idea about all of this." "I figured as much, Leo, and I know how hard it is to work with unreliable clients, especially when the other side has an equally strong lawyer." "You're right about that, ma'am," Leo agreed. "I think that's all I need to discuss today. I'll need to talk to my client before deciding how to move forward. Someone will contact you soon, though I can't say it will be me." I knew what Leo was hinting at but didn't say anything. I thanked him for his time and left the cafe. I went straight to work and started preparing my own documents for the divorce. The sadness I had been feeling was gone, replaced by a burning anger that pushed me to make sure David paid for what he did. I knew he had no way out of the mess he had made. It didn't take David long to reach out to me again. He called me despite telling me not to contact him directly. It was both funny and not surprising. I knew he would end up in this situation. When I picked up the phone, he sounded really angry. "What the hell did you say to my lawyer, Sophia?" "Oh, look who's calling after telling me to stay away. What happened with your lawyer?" "Sophia, stop playing games." "David, tell me what you said to make your lawyer quit today." "Your lawyer quit today? How sad." "David, I guess you should have been honest about your situation and who they'd be going up against." "You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a nobody. I won't let you take my family business." "Oh, I'd like to see you try, David. I'll hire a better lawyer and challenge you. Just wait and see. I'm going to destroy you in court. You'll be begging me for mercy." "Well, good luck with that, David, but here's some advice from a lawyer. Don't forget to tell your new lawyer about the affair and the prenup." At that, David hung up on me. It made me laugh. He was in serious trouble, but he still didn't realize it. He'd go through every lawyer in town and see who would represent him. I'm a well-known name here, so people knew not to mess with me. Anyone foolish enough to believe his lies would soon be brought back to reality when I presented them with the evidence. David thought he'd make me beg for mercy, but I knew it was just a matter of time before he came crawling back. And sure enough, I was right. One morning, while I was getting ready for work, I heard a knock on the door. I was confused about who could be at my door so early. When I opened it, I found my soon-to-be ex-husband standing there, looking for Lauren. I was a little surprised, but I let him in. I didn't want a scene in front of my house. Once inside, I said, "Make it quick, David. I don't have time to waste. I don't even know why you're here. We agreed to communicate only through lawyers." "Yeah, about that," he started. "I haven't found a good divorce lawyer yet." "That's unfortunate for you, David. You better hurry up, though, because I hear your mistress is dying to marry you." "I'm not worried about her anymore." "Listen, Sophia, we need to talk. You've been sabotaging my lawyers so they won't take my case. That's really unfair." I couldn't help but laugh when he said that. I couldn't believe the audacity of David. It just showed how little he respected my profession. He thought that because he had money, he could make people do whatever he wanted. Oh, that's a good one, David. Let me set the record straight. I haven't sabotaged anything. It's your own stupidity that's causing the trouble. I don't get it. What did I even do? Should I remind you how you lied to your lawyers about the affair and the prenup? That's enough to make them look like fools in court. Do you really think lawyers would want to represent someone like you, untrustworthy and dishonest? I'll admit, my name carries weight in this field, and many people know better than to cross me. David may think I'm useless, but I actually have a solid reputation. Yes, I know that now, Sophia. I've been open with lawyers, but no one's willing to help me, he confessed. That's what happens when you try to go up against an ironclad prenuptial agreement. You should have thought through your affair, David, but it doesn't matter now. The damage is done. No lawyer in their right mind would fight for you. You'll be giving me half of your business. David's face told me everything I needed to know. He didn't want to lose his business, and that's why he tried to drag out the divorce. He hoped I'd give up and leave without taking what's rightfully mine, but after a few days, it became clear to him that no lawyer would take his side. He even struggled to find anyone willing to go against me, so he did what he thought was his last resort. He started crying and begging. Sophia, you know how much this business means to me. Please don't do this. You can take everything else, but please don't take the business. Why not, David? You're the one who put in the clause to split the business if you cheated. Do you think I'll just give up my rights? It was a mistake, Sophia. Believe me, I've put my relationship on hold because I know it was a huge mistake. Maybe, just maybe, we can give this marriage another try. This will only make us stronger. I couldn't help but laugh at his words. The audacity. He was actually asking me to get back together, as if I'd be foolish enough to take him back. I knew he'd put his relationship on hold with his mistress. The rumors were true, she wasn't happy, and neither was David. But if he thought I'd go back to him, he was wrong. I already made the mistake of marrying him, and I wasn't going to let it happen again. You must be delusional if you think I'd get back with you, David. I didn't come this far in life by being stupid. I know you want me back, but it's not because you love me, it's because you don't want to lose your business. Sophia, we were happy together. Let's just forget about this one mistake and try again. I'll cut ties with my mistress. I swear, there's no reason for us to go through with this. David, that woman's going to leave you once she finds out you won't be so rich after the divorce. As for me, this is my chance to leave this sham of a marriage. I have you to thank for showing your true colors before we had kids. Now, you'll reap what you've sown. That was the last I said. David continued begging and pleading for me not to take his business, but it didn't affect me. If anything, it gave me satisfaction knowing that karma was hitting him hard. All I had to do now was move on. Karma worked quickly for David. He tried for weeks to get me to change my mind, but I wasn't interested in his drama. I was ready to move on. Since he had already filed for divorce, I hired someone from my firm to represent me. I didn't want to deal with him directly anymore. After a month of trying to get me back, David was forced to get a lawyer and ask for a clean break. He knew if we went to court, he'd face humiliation, so he agreed to a mutual split. The prenup made it easy for me to get what I deserved. I had all the evidence of David's affair, and per the prenuptial agreement, he was supposed to give me half of his business. Though he wasn't happy, he had no choice but to sign it over to me. We did offer to buy me out, but he didn't have any money left. Why, you ask? He had spent it all on his mistress, who now wasn't answering his calls. It turns out, once he wasn't rich, she didn't want him anymore, and no one else would date her either because they knew what she was about. What goes around, comes around. The mistress wasn't David's biggest problem, though. With half of his business gone, his income plummeted. He had to sell his house because he couldn't afford the mortgage anymore. Now, he's renting a condo that's a huge downgrade from the mansion he once lived in. He even tried getting back with me again, hoping to regain control of his business, but that's never going to happen. He either continues as he is or works hard enough to buy me out. As for me, I'm doing great. I've got someone managing my share of the business, and everything's going smoothly. I even upgraded my lifestyle by buying a new mansion. Thanks to my income from law practice and the business, I'm living my best life, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. The divorce ended up working out in my favor. Instead of being played by David and his mistress, I ended up ruining their lives and bettering mine.